All right, hey, I'm popping in here because we forgot to do spoilers. We just spent 3 minutes debating whether or not we should do spoilers for a movie that's been out for nearly 10 years.
Is it ruined by giving away
here we
what
go,
happened?
John. We're just
It's
doing
debatable.
the
That's
spoiler.
debatable.
We're
That's
just
what we
doing
just
the
argued
spoiler,
about.
all right? You don't have to-
I'm
get
pretty
into it.
sure we spoil the end of this movie. If it could be spoiled, that's up in the air.
Right.
But we do talk about what happens at the end of this movie very early on in the podcast.
spoilers.
So
Just in case.
if you are in any way sensitive to
Or if you
that,
really want to
stop
see this
listening
movie,
now.
we all think,
Or if you
we all
really-
think this is worth
How
seeing.
about this,
We
John?
think this is worth seeing.
Should you watch
John,
this
yes,
movie?
right, yes,
How about that?
Yes.
Yes. If you like this podcast, you should watch this movie. Do we
Yes,
all agree
that's
on that?
exactly right. We're doing the spoiler. All right,
Okay.
let's go, folks.
We're doing the spoiler. That's it. All right, here's the
All right,
episode.
bye.
This podcast is rated R for restricted. Under 17 requires accompanying parent or adult guardian.
All right, hey guys, guess what we're doing this week? Something new. Something potentially we can repeat in the future.
Which is?
Whoa.
An episode called Should This Be in the Top 250? A series of bonus episodes where we put movies on there that are movies that we think maybe should be on the top 250, seeing as we are now potentially considered
running
experts.
out of films.
Yeah, we're running out of films.
Yeah, right.
We got a pretty good idea of what's on the list.
out.
Pretty good
Yeah.
idea so far.
Yeah.
So that's, I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
It's a
I got a
good
list.
idea.
You know, we can go through them. And that's what we're going to do this week because that's
Okay.
where this movie came from because we were kind of, wanting to buffer out and time the Ghibli movies for Christmas and the new Ghibli, The Boy and the Heron movie. So in the Christmas spirit, we're going to watch a movie that's very Christmassy. It's called Nightcrawler. It's made in 2014.
Yeah. Very Christmassy.
Christmassy.
Sure.
Yeah.
That works.
Written and directed by Dan Gilroy, produced by Tony Gilroy, and edited by John Gilroy. The Gilroy 3.
It's a family affair.
It is. Yeah, and this week it's my turn to go first.
And you
nice.
you had selected this film. So we were
had.
just, so background, we were just, again, because we're worried about running out of films, but just throwing some out there to watch.
Yes.
And this was one of them that we all three had said, yep. And had you seen this before, TC?
Yeah.
Okay, so we all three were like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It seemed a little underappreciated. I don't know a lot of people that have seen this. It did make a decent amount of money against its budget, but it's not talked about ever, really. People don't really mention it unless you're like, what's a good Jake Gyllenhaal performance, maybe?
Right, maybe. Or what were Jake's favorite films of himself, right?
But it's
or
weird,
something,
too, because he didn't get nominated for anything, and if that doesn't happen, then people kind of discredit it or discount it or whatever.
Right.
I have a
Which is
theory.
stupid.
I have a theory why, but which I bet.
Oh, why? Is it because it's
an easy theory.
anti-establishment?
Maybe.
I mean, it is.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a small movie in a sense about a really despicable character, antisocial guy, but it's.
That's exactly right, John.
And there's
I'm just going to
exactly
steamroll
right.
you because
It's
John's
like-
going into his review, but I'm going to steamroll because that's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
knocked over.
What this
That's
movie
what I
does
like about it.
is
But
that
go,
it
Denny,
focuses on a single character, but is about so much more than just this one person in their very linear journey, which is a very entertaining journey, right? Like his character is fascinating. His acting is amazing. The story is really unique. And it's suspenseful throughout.
It is, and make it suspenseful
And it's
when
shot
he's
in
not,
LA,
when he's,
which
when
is
he's
like-
not likable.
They really did.
It's
save all
beautiful.
sorts of
It's
money.
really
The
beautiful.
LA at night scenes were beautiful. Like the
They were.
cinematography.
When everyone
like,
was empty, when everyone, when the city was empty.
Yeah.
God, Mike,
Right.
this is day cool talking.
Get rid of all these people here. LA might be nice if there weren't all these people all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it honestly, like I like The Big Lebowski a lot. I like a lot of LA movies, but this one really sticks out as like it shows like a lot of LA and it all looks really good.
But I love that it's in LA at time of night when people don't see LA typically. Like,
Right.
Go ahead though.
Yeah. And I mean, all that stuff is really good. I think Jake should have gotten nominated for an acting award. He's really a lot of things in this movie. He does like a pretty unique character. It's like, you can compare it to John talks a lot about good movies with bad people and how he's sick of it or whatever. And I kind of agree with him for the most part.
But this isn't glorifying it either, though. This is not like, oh, it's about family and honor and or whatever, or being a badass. That's none of that. This is not like, this is really sort of grimy, and it is not glorifying what he's doing in any way. There's not that.
I don't know. It shows him making money.
Yeah,
I mean, he's making
succeeds.
money, but he succeeds. But it's not. There's not a glorification here.
I don't know. I think he's grinding too, but there is a part of him which I somewhat admire in the fact that like
his gumption,
determination.
Like,
I admire how smart he is that he can confidently like go into the police station and just lie to their face because he knows his story is bulletproof.
This is a guy who's total asshole, a creep, and probably antisocial, but I like him.
No, seriously, I'm not lying.
They do a good job of making him likable. Yeah, they do a good job of making him likable.
That's the trick is to make you root for him. But still, it's not glorifying him. I don't think that this isn't done like it isn't.
No,
like,
I mean, what it is kind of showing an underbelly of like how this country works and like capitalism and how like some industries they reward bad behavior instead of correcting it. You know,
specifically how media works.
Well,
or I don't know. I mean, it shows like
really
what about like police? Like you know, it's basically like bad. He found a place where his bad behavior gets rewarded because it's useful for the industry as opposed to it being corrected. And that could also be seen in media, definitely, but also in like the police force or a lot of other places. Hollywood.
I had all of this story being wrapped around the media.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, that's where it definitely focuses.
I still see it. I see.
And how like that woman gets off on this shit. And how
that's her career too, right?
Those people have adrenaline rushes from the fact that they're shooting someone dead. Or the idea that like they're paying X amount of dollars for something that's, basically it's more pricey to have somebody dead and bleeding than it is to have someone drunk and just being arrested. Right.
But also the movie shows like this horror, this sort of feigned horror from different people that exist depending upon how much they're going to be rewarded from it, right? So it's like, they see certain things and think of it as horrifying or whatever. But then if the stakes are high enough or they're going to get enough reward from it, then it sort of goes like the goalpost move for them.
It's media.
For those characters, right? I think the movie does this in a really interesting way. They show again, it's all focused on this one character, yes, but the other part of it is everybody's reaction to him. Right, and their shock and horror about just how
admiration and awe. Some people are like, especially at the end, the Rene Rizzo character is like, "This is beautiful. You're amazing."
Well,
you're
not
like, Jesus Christ,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, you see her go. That's the other thing that's done well is you see her also be disgusted by him at first too, until until the stakes are raised enough in terms of what he can provide for her, right? But before then too, you see her be really disgusted by him and like pissed off at him at first too. So it's done well in that sense. It's not like she
sleeps with him to get ahead, but then as soon as he doesn't get the good story immediately afterwards, she fucking flips out. So I mean, it's all about like self-preservation and
Right? I think that's sort of like shown really well. And then you just have people like his assistant just sort of caught up in it and then you see his assistant start doing the same shit, right? And just start looking out for himself. And again, anyway, I let you keep talking, Denny. Sorry.
What do you mean? Let me keep talking?
Just hijacking the whole thing as usual.
You were hijacking too, DC. You were talking too. It wasn't just me. You were talking to.
Interrupt you
and
say
all
something
about the media, this and that and the other. Come on, it wasn't just me. I'm sorry.
No, it is. It's about it's crazy because this movie, I think on the first watch, it's mainly a thriller, right? It's a character study thriller, and that's what comes across. There are some cool things where like there's ideas that I hadn't thought of. This movie puts the idea of like there are, like you see news footage of people dying. Everyone's seen that, right? You've seen bloody footage in the news. I have never once thought, how did somebody capture that footage, right? And this movie is
and what did they do to get it?
Right, and like that whole side of it is like a little disturbing. Like it's the
same as the paparazzi.
Yeah,
right?
it is.
Yeah.
But it's also, they can kind of justify it a bit more, but not really. But they put it on like actual news, like
it's the same
tabloid
thing.
stuff is different.
It's how intimate can you get, and how much can you profit from that? That's the same thing. But
it's also a safe. So I think there's more merit to like who gives a shit about celebrities and what they're doing. But like if people are being killed, the general population wants to know so they can feel safer or whatever. That's the purpose of the news, partially, right? So I think there's a little more merit to like saying, watch out, like this street is dangerous. People are always getting killed over here. Here's some footage to scare you about it, sort of thing. That's a little better, I think.
I don't know. I still think at the core they're exactly the same thing, right? It's a transactional.
I think you could lie to
situation
yourself easier on being a Nightcrawler.
But it's still, I mean, ultimately, it's all the same thing, and that's what they're trying to make the statement of, which is, and any kind of, I mean, the thing that we're doing with the movie is the same thing.
I don't think you could do this with a. No, but you couldn't make the same story with the paparazzi. I don't think you could do the same story. No.
I'm not saying that. I'm just talking. Never mind.
Sorry, TC. I'm just getting your point.
Denny, but Denny, I think TC's right. You wouldn't make exactly the same story, but these sorts of trade-offs in terms of what's morally acceptable in your profession, balanced against what's going to get you ahead, and how different people. It could be politics, it could be journalism,
right?
It could be acting, it could be anything. It could be the music industry. Any of these things where you can balance.
You're profiting off of someone else's shitty moment
or whatever. Yeah. But also the kind of person that can get ahead in any of those industries, if they have no morals, can be really surprising. And how you can play that to your advantage. And as someone who has morals, how can you benefit from them being the immoral one? Right, because that's really what entertainment is, right? It's like it's a bunch of people surrounding that one asshole that's willing to be immoral. The other side of it, which is nice, again, there's things that are specific to the industry that they really highlight. Like, okay, the news wants this to be about a break-in in what was thought of as a safe community. That's important for them to scare their audience, because that's what gets the ratings. That's what will get their audiences to tune in. So it's very important for them to manipulate the story so that it scares them. But again, it's this idea of they're just doing whatever it takes to get ahead. Whatever it is that gives them the most ratings, and that can be, when you're an actor, whatever it takes to give you the most views, or whatever it takes as a musician to give you the most listens, whatever, it would, the specifics would change, but there's still an overall. I'd still agree with TC that it's not necessarily journalism specific either. What they're sort of
and is it okay to do that because you're a quote unquote professional? Like, what's that line? And that's kind of what they're.
Is it okay because you're good at it?
Yeah, and that too.
And is it okay because they allow you to do it?
Yeah, and when he's watching his friend die and he's videotaping him die, like, where's the line there?
And it's
hard
not
to
his
say,
friend by any stretch of the imagination.
But he's developed a rapport with him over the course of the film, which he doesn't do with anybody really. Other than the woman,
he picked him because the guy is so desperate he could drag him along.
I sort of assume that for the most part, this guy does not have friendships. Like, he feels lonely, but he doesn't. And I think he says something to this effect in terms of how he feels about people, that he doesn't, it's not like he's connected to them or he really cares about them. He even when he talks about what it's like being alone, he's talking about more the practical sides of things, that he doesn't get to have sex with somebody or go places with somebody. He's not talking about like emotionally connecting to somebody. And that's another sort of thing I think that comes across with his character, is that that's part of what allows him to be the way he is, in the sense of being sort of fearless in the way he interacts with people. And what's weird, though,
with all that is that, like, his medium is the thing that connects him to people, but he doesn't see that, right? Yeah. Like, his ambition is obsessive. Right. And that's what it takes to be somebody in media, right? Is you have to have that. And, like, it's under the guise of your final product, which then does reach a person. Yeah, but, like, you almost can't have that moral, you just can't be doing both things at once a lot of times in these situations.
None of that's what drives your success. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. TC, I've been talking a lot. I wonder, Denny, what do you think about this film?
Oh, thank you, John. Can I talk now? Thank you so much, John. I feel bad because I definitely steamrolled TC there for a bit, but then instead of TC being able to talk, John talked for a while. Funny how that happened.
Yeah, I know, right?
But I do think,
back, Denny.
Just like, yeah, I agree with everything you say. It's crazy how many different topics this movie packs into it, and it does it subtly in the background. They're not like side stories or anything, but it's just like the main plot of the movie touches all these different themes, and it has a lot to say about them by the simple story. And it's not simple, but by the direct main story that you're watching. It's kind of a small
story, in a sense. It's not like big stakes necessarily.
It's not like, it's not like a Marvel story where they go on a journey somewhere, right?
Or even like,
But it doesn't have to go out of its way to say these things, right? Like it's all within the main story. It all has to be all there because they're all.
I mean, and like how big of a statement was that when he pulls the body and frames it?
Yeah,
like that alone is like when he turns to the dark side for good.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think just that alone it says a lot.
Did we forget that he killed somebody at the beginning of the movie?
Right. You start out the
because I think he killed somebody, right?
Oh no, he did. Yeah, he did basically.
Yeah.
It is easy to forget that, right? Because and then it starts again.
So is.
Yeah. Because it kind of seems to start again, and you kind of get to like him again.
Like he gets that first story because he killed that motherfucker.
Well, did he? Well, I think that showed. He just showed that this is how he used to steal stuff.
This is the security guard.
He was stealing like hubcaps and manhole covers and stuff, so he could sell them to the guy at the chop shop.
He beats up the security guard. I don't know. It's not clear that he's absolutely murdered him.
Did he murder? Yeah, I thought he just beat him up and got out of the situation without being in trouble. You just see him punching,
and I don't know if. Yeah, I don't know what happened.
I have a question there. I mean, they don't tell you obviously, but I mean, he's by the end you realize he is capable of killing, or at least letting somebody.
He's fine with it. He's totally fine with it. Or the guys in the van. He did something to the van.
Yeah,
it sounds right. So he killed them. Like he cut their brakes or something. I don't know what.
Oh, Bill Paxton's going to make it, dude. Bill Paxton's going to make it. Don't you say that.
Yeah.
He's going to be all right.
He's going to be fine.
Poor Bill. Bill was great in that role too. All right. He did a great job.
He was great.
Yeah, as he always was.
Doesn't he? He seemed like he was from LA, even though he's from Texas.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
But I think, the character itself is awesome. The one thing I was thinking during this viewing is I'm not sure if you start thinking about where this guy could have possibly come from before when this movie started, I'm not sure there's a reasonable explanation for how somebody so smart and who can pick up things so quickly and can be so successfully manipulative to other people. Like, wouldn't you think that person wouldn't start from zero like this person did at the age that he's at?
Yeah. No, like that's really not as believable. Like that was one of those things that you just have to kind of let it go.
Right. I guess so. Yeah. I mean, you can think though that he's probably he rubs people the wrong way, and he's just got to find the right situation where it works for him. Like even he's trying to get a job with the trash guy, but he already fucked that up because he was being so aggressive about the price and so on. And so it does seem to show like he's not quite fitting. He's been trying and he's smart, but he also is really sometimes like real ham-fisted to other people. Really, really way too blunt and obvious about what he's doing sometimes. And
politely blunt.
Well, he does it. He actually
scarily.
It's scary blunt.
It's the way
he does this.
Yeah, like I'm really kind of nervous for my life. Blunt.
Right. The way he does it. Yeah, the way Jake does this is really, really good.
Dude, he just his eyes, crazy eyes, were perfect for this role. Yep. They really were. He did a great job, and he just has a way of delivering those lines quick, crisp, and to the point. And it's,
somebody could take this role and show off with it. Like they could take this role and chew scenery with it or something like that, and or look at how I'm being like I'm evil but I'm intelligent. Look at me, and sort of like I don't know. This is just done so like low key and scary. I don't know how to say it. It's like both low key and high tension.
It's sociopathic. It's like, I mean, if all of us have an idea of what a sociopath is, that's going to be it, right? If you watch enough ID Network, you know that guy I would have seen from a mile away. He's stealing shit. He's showing up and filming people. He's a nut. Right. Guy's a killer. Right.
He sees an accident. He stops and just stares
and just looks.
That's just what he does. Okay.
He doesn't help.
No.
He just looks.
You don't have to help. That's totally okay. You can just watch.
You just watch. Yeah, that was weird. And I guess they do a good setup of him being a thief because it's like that was like his little step forward was, okay, I'm a thief and I have no morals because I'll steal from you, but now I'm a thief and he might be a murderer.
Right.
And you believe it by the end that he is one because he's fucking, taking bodies and framing them. That was something else.
He's also setting up situations where cops get killed.
I know.
That's not cool. That's got to be some kind of against the law, maybe, even though he convinces himself.
I thought he was,
not.
And maybe he still was going to get nailed somehow. I mean, it shows him getting away with it, but it seems like, well, they've got all this other he's got this other footage. I don't know, but I was pretty sure he was gone, and even then, I'm not sure that the film. Yeah, sure, he's starting to get his crew and everything, but it might take a while for the cops to go get him. I don't know. I think the movie's trying to make you feel like he got away with it.
Definitely.
Well, and I think what I like about their depiction of LA is that they make it seem like it's so vast that you could get lost as a person in it, and this would be believable. You would just die in the crash. No one's going to check the brake lines, right? Like they're not going to think that the guy filming the thing is the one killing people. And so like but in LA that might happen because it's so big. The LAPD has got so much to deal with. They may not find him doing that thing for a long while because they've got way more important things going on at a minute's notice. So I like that their depiction of LA was this like, and it allowed them to do this because they were doing this at night. It's just this vast open, it's like a vacuum of bullshit that we all don't really think about when we go to sleep at night, but does exist when we're, dead to the world. So
LA, vacuum of bullshit and my home.
Yeah, great. And I live there. Awesome. Yeah.
There were a couple scenes where on paper I would think that they weren't that good, but the scene where he asks Rene Russo out to the Mexican dinner, that scene is like 7 minutes long of two people talking kind of quietly at a dinner table, and it is one of the best scenes in the movie. Just the dialogue they wrote and the acting between them two, and just the way it progresses the plot and how scary he is, like the amount you learn about his character and what he's capable of and how his mind works.
And watching her come to that same conclusion while we do is great.
Yeah. And none of that was like 7 minutes of like two people talking in the same scene.
It could have been bad.
It could have been really bad. It's never good. But 7 minutes, that's insane. But it was really good. There were a lot of scenes with Jake talking for a long time, and they were all good, like really good.
It's one of those things where you just put the camera on him and you let him do his thing, and
that's exactly what they did. TC, any scene where he had more than 5 lines of dialogue, that was one of the themes they came up with. They would just put the camera on him and stay there every single time.
Did he do much ad-libbing or any improvising, or was this mostly pretty much to the script?
Not too much. He practiced for 3 months. They did rehearsals for three months before they shot this because they had a limited time. They had 28 days. 28 nights.
Maybe that helped it a great deal, though. Like they really knew their characters. I guess
it had to have because of their night shoots and the fact that they didn't have locations for all the scenes they were filming. They would do location scouting during the day, and then find a place, and then go there at night, and then shoot. So depending on where they found, they had to shoot a scene that was appropriate for that. So Jake had to be okay with doing any of the lines, he didn't know
where he would. He didn't even know where he'd be necessarily, or what what's going to be around him.
Right, they shot all out of order. He did a random scene each night. He basically had this memorized like a play, and he was able to do this, without having to read off of anything.
Right.
And it was mostly written.
That's a real actor.
Yeah,
yeah. Now most people die. There's a reason why he gets paid the way he does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is a low budget movie. He had to have taken a cut because this was right after Prisoners, and that movie was huge.
He was a big star. He was an A star.
He was a goddamn Prince of Persia,
right?
Yeah.
So, and again, this is not. Again, this is he was a leading sexy man at that point,
and this is whose idea was to lose the weight.
Oh no,
it was Jake's.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
He read.
That makes sense.
Yeah, he loved the script, and he thought the character he'd be playing was like a coyote, so he wanted to lose the weight to become a human coyote. Was his logic?
It helps his look. I mean, not that necessarily encourage bodily changes for a film, but still, it certainly. I mean, his gaunt look is part of what is kind of
creepy about him.
If he was handsome leading man looking, it would be still harder to sort of like be believable again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, hi, I'm Jake Gyllenhaal. I'm just just trying to make a buck here. That's funny, Jake. But
even like all three of those three brothers were on the commentary track, and they're like, he looks hungry. It works because he's hungry. He's literally hungry.
He's like starving.
Yeah.
Every day starving, and he looks it, and his eyes are like popping out, and there's like desperation in his face, and it helps the character.
Yeah, eat your heart out, Daniel Day-Lewis.
Fuck you, Christian Bale. You ain't got shit on him.
Oh, fuck you, Batman. And Batman, fucking taking Batman seriously. Yeah, you can't get taken seriously for taking Batman seriously, but whatever.
You gotta take Batman seriously. Have you seen The Machinist? That was right between American Psycho and the Batman.
I know.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, The Machine, that was taking it seriously. That's true. Anyway, Right?
Yeah, I like the music a lot in this movie too. It did some really weird stuff where what was going on the screen did not line up with the music at all, and I thought it was really good because it kind of made you. It kind of put you in his mind of how he was feeling about the situation.
I was going to say too, and the music is this weird kind of 90s,
like rock.
It reminded me of American Beauty a little bit.
Yeah, like trance rock.
It really weird. It really fit like L.A. at night and his character.
It did.
Otherwise, like if I were to like hear it by itself, I'd be like, man, this is kind of cheesy. This is blah.
No, it did. Sometimes it sounded like temp tracks, honestly.
Yeah, right.
It was on purpose, I would assume.
They tried a lot of different things. They were basically slamming different genres of music into the movie, and they were having a hard time making anything work. And this stuff clicked.
Okay. I could see that. Because it's very basic shit. It's just one camera, a couple actors, and they're in, places that are normal.
And it's not polished. Yeah, a really polished score would have sounded weird. Like even if it was a really cool, polished, kind of scary or whatever, would have been weird.
And I think, it kind of shows that like, even though what we're watching is all pretty horrible stuff. And I think one of the ones that stood out the most was when he was filming his companion dying on the ground and the music was going. And it makes you feel like it's a happy song almost. It's like it's like angelic voices or something. And it makes you feel like, if this didn't have the music, I'd be like feeling sad and this is a sad moment, but he's happy, right? Like he doesn't give a shit about this guy.
Yeah, this is perfect. He's like, this is great. This is a great shot.
Yeah,
this is awesome. He he's all probably feeling good. I set this up. I own.
He was like, I'm a pro.
I did this.
I'm a pro.
I knew that guy was alive, and I didn't know he'd get shot. That's fantastic, though. It worked out.
But I mean, like honestly, the confidence in him was so good, man. When they had that argument about him not joining Bill Paxton, and he was like, I can't tell you how like less interested I am right now. I thought that was one of the best tell-offs on screen I've ever seen.
Yeah, and not overdone at all.
No, done with this. Like, I mean, again, Nicolas Cage in this role would have been a lot of fun as in anything. But I can just imagine.
That's a hard agree right there.
I can imagine Nicolas Cage in this role. What I'd like to do right now, but I'm not gonna do it. Anyway, all
right, John, you're done for the night. That's as best as you're gonna get. Yeah,
I get to Nick Cage. I'm done.
Yeah.
Is that it? Is that all I had to say? I thought you were going to keep going. No more Nick Cage impressions?
I'm good. Well, I got more to talk about the film probably, but you please continue, Denny. You're just sort of running the show here.
It is,
Sure.
That's how it is.
The only part that didn't feel totally awesome to me was the montage. He was doing montage. He was like getting more footage montage. It showed him go to different scenes and downloading his videos and renaming them on his computer and stuff.
I didn't mind it, but yeah, you're right.
I didn't mind it either.
It didn't need to be there.
He was creating his own little database, but we don't know why.
I guess he's showing the progression that he's getting better.
You could just do 2 months later, ... and then skip ahead.
Yeah,
maybe you do that. I don't know.
You're right.
They got all this footage though. I don't know. The music was weird. The tone seemed out of place.
The problem is that up to that point, this movie is so linear that I think that might be the only place where that stops for a while. And that also might be why that sort of feels weird. This movie otherwise feels very straight shot, following this guy through his progression. And so then you have the montage training sequence, he's running up the stairs getting that footage.
I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense though, right? Like that's the pinnacle of his arc is what he's doing that good.
There. So you got some time passing. So maybe it gives you a breather from that.
Yeah.
So it's good. And that even if you don't like that part, you get a bit of a break.
Well, and I think it's what it's doing is it's getting the audience on his side again while he's doing his thing, while he's getting better and better and better. So now we're kind of rooting for him now. Because we're like, hey, he's doing it and he's doing it all right. He doesn't seem to be doing anything wrong now. He's just fucking doing his job. And then all of a sudden we get to that part where he moves the body and then we don't like him again.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Maybe I'm just in the mood of thinking that, a single, I'm in the mood of thinking a movie's mood staying as one specific type of mood. I'm having a hard time saying
vision,
this.
A single vision sort of.
Just think The Lighthouse didn't have a montage or any laughs. The Exorcist didn't have a montage or any laughs.
Well, you needed what you really needed in
Hereditary,
The Lighthouse.
No montage, no laughs. Right. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I love the masturbation montage in The Lighthouse. That was the best.
Just Benny Hill music in the background.
Masturbating now.
You should have stopped when TC said stop, John.
I know.
Yeah,
I can't help
pretty
it. This is what the TC was trying to give me a warning.
You gotta learn from George Costanza.
bud.
I'm sorry, man. I should have taken it. Show me the door, and I was like, I'm gonna have another drink. Okay.
I thought Rene Russo was really good. I thought his sidekick was really good.
Yeah.
All the acting was
all
like
the
top
performances
notch.
are great. Like, and it was really
and they had a lot to
because-
do with him, a lot to do with the characters, and they
right. Yeah, they had to respond to him. That was really important to how like all of those characters were. He was engaged with everybody, and so they had to react really well. And if they didn't, that would have looked. That would have fallen if they were. I almost
think that sometimes they didn't have to act because they were probably actually in
probably like horrified,
being like, "Holy shit, why is he so good at this? I've been acting for X amount of time and I got nothing on this." And they're just looking at him like, "Holy fuck!" Right? And that's acting, quote unquote. You know,
what they did say is
normal.
Part of the things that were improv, I guess, was how they did the scenes. They would shoot the same scene with the same lines in different ways.
Right.
And
oh wow.
A lot of the times
they didn't know what scenery would be around them anyway, right? If they were just finding the shot.
Even if right. So they were improving because they needed to get it to work in the scene they had, but they also wanted Jake to explore the character a bunch.
Okay.
And what they said was 90% of the time they would have a bunch, or 90% of the time they would use the take where Jake was smiling. So a lot of the scenes they would shoot over and over again, Jake was a little more serious and looked a little scarier. But in the cut, they used the one where he had like a little smirk, or he was smiling, or he laughed, or something like that. And they used
because that made him more crazy.
Yeah, it made him
seeming.
Yeah,
less
like a horror movie and more like unsettling.
More like I'm creeped out.
Yeah,
and I don't really know why, but he shouldn't be smirking. You know,
because it does make it seem like he's trying. He's not just an evil guy. He's trying to blend in. You know, and like the smiling and the laughing is kind of a tool that he has.
Right. Everything is like in a way it's like. It seems like that's things are very calculated, right? That's because he's not feeling a lot of emotion in a sense, in a lot of ways. Although they show him being scared and stuff, you know, when the car chases are going and so. Which, by the way, those are great. The action scenes were awesome, like really good. Like the car chase scenes or where he's going through the house, really well done. Like in terms of like creating suspense, even though this guy that it's a real asshole character that we shouldn't care about, we're still like tense for him. But also just the action is really good. I mean, those car chases in particular with the cop car chase towards the end was really well done.
Yep. 100% agreed.
Yep.
What other film would you compare this to? So another great like anti-social movie, maybe Drive, but Drive is, I mean, he's a good guy. I mean,
kind of.
You know, is he? I don't remember it entirely.
He's a criminal.
He's a criminal, but he's a real good-looking guy, at least.
That's true. He's got a sweet jacket. That helps.
He's got a sweet jacket and a sweet car, and he's a good driver.
So we got. I asked the chat, and I got Taxi Driver. That's a good one. Comparison with the loner protagonist.
Yeah, late night guy.
Late night
Insomnia.
Yeah, Network from 1976. American Psycho.
Yeah.
The Social Network.
That's another one at some point we might want to see, by the way, though.
Well, because it explores the theme of ambition and moral compromise.
Right.
Okay.
But, okay. Oh, thank you, chat. That's very well put.
Oh, yes. The chat knows.
The chat knows all.
The chat knows all.
So, I mean, No Country for Old Men is another like good like sociopath movie. But
I got some Anton Chigurh vibes in the very first scene.
Yeah,
of this movie.
I do. But the film isn't as focused. That film isn't like No Country for Old Men is more focused on the people that he intersects with. Like the movie spends a lot more time with the people, the other characters, than they do the sociopath. So it's not really just straight from
it's not about the one lone protagonist.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to see that movie again though because it's so good. But yeah, I did get that vibe. The haircut made me wonder. I wonder if they like where they got their haircut because that was kind of the long, lanky kind of hair too.
Oh man, the man bun was a controversy.
Oh, was it?
The first scene they told them to put the man bun on. They thought it would look cool. They thought it would make him look creepy, and I kind of agree with both. But he did it. It was one of the scenes they were shooting on, I want to say Venice Beach, but that might not be true. One of the beaches, the shot is in the movie, TC, you might know. There's a beach. They're filming it kind of guerrilla style. Jake Gyllenhaal's in the shot. He's putting a man bun up. That's the first time they do it. Paparazzi were there. They took pictures of him. It was all in the news.
Venice.
Oh, the Jake and a man bun.
Yeah, everyone's like, Jake in a man bun. This is his new look. What do people think? And everyone was like, fuck that. Wow. It's ugly as hell. And they heard that when they were filming it. Yeah, but they were filming it and they're like, we're going to keep it. But people on the production side were nervous because of the the backlash through, because of the paparazzi.
Well, I mean, but they might not have known anything about the film and just thought that, oh, he's going to be another action hero or something. And so if you're thinking that, it's like, oh man, he looks terrible and he's a man bun. He's going to be a really shitty superhero.
I think all it was like, is Jake sexy? No, he's not sexy.
No.
Like he's not supposed to be sexy.
Supposed to be.
Right. That's right. But the thing is that, well, if he's not
who cares?
sexy
It's
in
the
the movie, what
paparazzi.
good is he?
That's all they care about.
They love that shit though, and you figure that hypes up the
that's
movie.
Actually, it's kind of funny. That's like a bit of an ironic sort of thing because it's exactly the kind of shit, right? You know, that they're like, oh,
they're
great,
going
we got
for.
a picture of Jake and he's not sexy.
Exactly.
We got to print this. We're going to run with this.
Yep, this is going to run. This is going to work.
It's
And
gonna
even though
cost
they
you.
should have known that, it still scared everybody on the production team, you know? Because they're like, I can just hear money falling out of our pockets because this freaking headline here.
Well, they got to worry.
Wow.
I mean, this is a risky movie for at least for Jake to do. It seems. I mean, maybe he doesn't care. He's fine. He's going to be all right.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter. But he I don't know. It's an interesting
I mean,
choice.
but
given where he was.
you're right. These people have weird thoughts when they have the money behind these films.
It's understandable. You don't want it to completely bomb, right? This is a privately funded movie. This is not a Hollywood movie. So it's like private people's money.
These are financiers that don't give a shit and don't know any better.
Yeah.
And, are pretty fickle when it comes to
and all they do is
product.
like they might read the screenplay. You know, like Jake read the screenplay and instantly signed on. It was that good. And everybody, like Jake got a bunch of people that were also good. Like they filmed this at an off time in LA. It was like between October and December is when they filmed it. And that's when most people have it off. So there was a lot of people on the production side, like the crew side that were available. And Jake wrangled up some really good people to work on this movie. So that was helpful.
So this is just one of those times where the actor was the rock as far as
he helped a lot.
Finished.
I wouldn't necessarily, it sounded like everybody else did a lot of stuff too.
Well, right, and there's cinematographer. I don't know if Jake is he the one that Jake got him signed. He's the cinematographer from There Will Be Blood.
Yes, Jake got him on.
Yeah.
So there you go.
There you go.
So really, this whole movie would never have
that helps a little bit.
like
You know,
it does
if you don't know if you've
all.
seen There Will Be Blood, it's a pretty decent looking movie. I think.
It's a pretty good movie.
Yeah,
out there,
looks good. Pretty nice.
Okay, I guess. I don't know. Oil's kind of boring.
Yeah, but I mean, and also like shooting at night. It made it really cheap because it's cheap to film at night. Because it sucks and no one wants to do it, I guess. And like
you don't have to block off intersections.
The nice thing is they don't want it brightly lit. Again, the film is very moody and kind of murky, and so it's not like, that's kind of they don't necessarily have to try too hard to try to make it look good. They don't want it to look good. They want it to be like shadowy.
They want it to look good. That was like
look good. I mean, not like, but it doesn't have to be bright.
Not exactly like what I said. Not like that. Why would you take me for my word?
Like that. Come on. I just had a long thing that I was saying, and then you just pooped on it. Now I don't know where to go. Okay, fine.
What were you going to say?
I don't even know now.
Because you were wrong.
Me either.
You weren't going to say shit because you were wrong, and I pointed it out.
That's right.
I was just making. I thought maybe it's cheaper, but even another reason they don't want to film at night is it's hard to make things look clear, look in focus, like get everything in a scene, and in the way they're shooting this film, that doesn't matter because things are murky, they're blurry, I don't know.
Well, they very intentionally picked. So they did a lot of
I'm making things up totally.
So they talked about this in the commentaries. The commentary track's really good. They talk about how some shots they would think of the theme more than anything. Thematically, if a long lens, which means a deep focus, like you can see the stuff way far away and clearly, they would do that intentionally based on the scene and what they were trying to convey. And then they would intentionally choose soft focus backgrounds, which is where everything is kind of, out of focus. That's not the character on the screen or whatever the scene is you're looking at. And they would choose them deliberately based on, what you were focusing on. If it was like a transitional scene with a car driving down, you might have a long lens so you can see everything. But if you're like focusing on a character, they'll do the soft focus in the background so your eye, you're not looking at LA, you're now like pointing back. Yeah. You're pointing back to the character. And it was like they always tried to pick the locations they found. They were all real places. They had 80 locations in this movie. So imagine that 80 locations, 28 nights. Some nights they had 2 relocations. So 3 locations in a night, some nights.
Damn.
Which is a lot. And they would like kind of be winging it when they were there. Like they didn't know, they would pick fancy and nice locations, and then they would, try to figure out how they were going to shoot it to pick up all the nice looking stuff they had there. They were always trying to make LA look beautiful in a way that, people don't normally see
on a normal day.
Right. So he said in a way, they like during the making of it, it turned into a love letter to LA. when they were making it because the way they shot it.
Right.
Because they were just traveling around every freaking night in different parts of LA.
The Gilroys have been in Santa Monica for a long time, man.
And their father was a famous person
that's what
too.
I mean.
Yeah. Oh, you know the
playwright.
Yeah.
Oh, I know the Gilroys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny because like they're like, hi,
but I know of them.
I'm like freaking is it Tony Gilroy? I think it was Tony Gilroy wrote and directed Michael Clayton and got Oscar noms for that movie.
Oh, did he?
Yep.
Oh shit, that's another one we should do.
That's a good one.
That's a good film.
Yeah, and he's done a bunch of good movies. This is Dan Gilroy's first movie, but he's written a bunch of stuff.
Yes. Did you ever see Velvet?
I mean, dude, these people have been cemented in LA for so long. Like, I'm sure getting this movie done was not as hard as we're making it.
It
so.
wasn't. No, it was. They said it was pretty easy.
It was like a few dudes out at the bar one night being like, "You want to make a movie?" Like, yeah, dude. Let's do
the thing
it.
is, his brother's a producer. So this guy writes the guy writes a movie. He goes to his brother. He says, "Do you think this is good?" And the guy's like, "Yeah, it's really good. I'll produce it." You know, like I know Jake. Let's talk to Jake. Jake, I guess initially was busy. He had something going on after Prisoners, but that fell through, and then he came back and was like, I want to do this one with you guys. And they're like, absolutely. And he's like, let me help. Get a bunch of good people. And they're like, fuck yeah, let's do it. And everybody read the script and everyone liked it. So everyone was on board.
Oh, it's about
smooth.
LA. They're here in LA. It's all fucking works out. I mean,
it was smooth.
Their dad was a Pulitzer Prize winner. So, I mean, they're well known as, you know, someone in the film, entertainment, writing, plays, all that. They've been around forever.
And so when Jake came in for his first interview, he asked Dan Gilroy, what do you think this story is about? And Dan Gilroy said, it's about somebody reaching their potential, someone succeeding to the point where they're, you know, this is what they were always meant to be. And Jake was like, that's exactly what I think it is. So like they aligned with that. And that's when Jake was like, all right, we share this vision of what the script is. I think we can do this.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So unless Jake was making it up, which it could have been, you know.
I mean,
give the guy a little bit of confidence.
Yeah.
We're just full on into trivia now, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So initially, Dan Gilroy had this idea of this guy named Weegee, Weegee. The 1930s, he was the first Nightcrawler, quote unquote. They actually are called stringers to most people, but Nightcrawler sounds way cooler.
It does.
They almost named the movie The Coyote after that whole Jake losing weight thing. But
maybe
I like Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler was a good choice.
Yeah. But Weegee bought a police scanner and went around and took still photographs of crime scenes and things like that. And he was the first person to ever do something like this with the police scanner. He made it his job. So that guy was, you know, Dan Gilroy thought that was interesting and he wanted to make a movie about it. But then there was sort of a movie with Joe Pesci called The Public Eye that did that already. So he kind of put it in his back pocket. And then living in LA, he heard about these real people. There are 24 of these people that exist that go around LA. This is their job. And they do it every night. So like that little information block at the beginning where it's like, you know, 365 days a year, 7 days a week, you know, every single night, these guys are out. That's true. And there's 24 of them. 2 of them are in the movie. The scene where Jake is late to the crash and Bill Paxton's kind of coming out like, you know, bragging about it. He's like, oh man, it was so good. There's people on fire and shit. There's 2 bald guys, 2 white bald guys that kind of are walking behind them. And those 2 guys were consultants in the movie and they are actual night crawlers as well.
Oh, wow.
And they've seen some pretty fucked up stuff. One of the guys had a little kid point an AK-47 at him and spray bullets at him while he was filming and didn't get hit and has the footage.
What?
Yeah. They've seen, like, the way they described it, there was a little special feature thing where they were like, yeah, you see, like, sometimes you don't even need the police scanner. You just see people get shot. Like being outside at night every day, like you'll see muzzle
just
flashes.
Out there and that just happens.
And it happens.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's like frequently, like you'll just be looking around and you can see the muzzle flashes. Like if you're on the wrong block, you can see the light passing through and you know where it is. And you can turn around and yeah, it seems like a scary fucking job. I don't know why anybody would want to do that.
I mean, well, think about who comes out at night, like in San Francisco. They're fucking, again, it's drug addicts and homeless.
And these guys, I guess, who are neither drug addicts or homeless, but
we don't know if they're not drug addicts, but we all know that they're not homeless.
Caffeine going on.
Yeah, definitely some caffeine at the very least.
Yeah.
some of that truck stop uppers, whatever I don't know if they sell that stuff anymore.
I don't know either.
Remember those pills you used to get at the gas station? It was like, truckers, stay awake. I'm pretty sure that stuff's illegal now.
Crazy amounts of caffeine in
it. Speaking of crazy amounts of caffeine, you see that Panera Bread's killed 2 people with their lemonade drink? Holy shit.
That's right.
Wait, really?
Yeah, they have this new lemonade drink with a shit ton of caffeine and 2 people died.
Killed somebody like a heart attack?
Lemonade, two died. Yeah, it has like
just a caffeine overdose,
milligrams of caffeine.
Oh my God, that's way too much.
Yeah.
It's called, what is it called?
It's like extreme lemonade or something like that.
What?
No, it's called
Charged
lemonade. The lemonade is called
Charged lemonade.
Charged lemonade. So because I only learned about this too. Like,
okay,
this is happening right
cups.
now.
Yes,
he drank 3 cups.
Yeah,
seems like a lot.
But they would put this. I
don't feel too bad for that guy, right?
I don't feel too bad for him. He drank 3 of them.
They would put this by the fountain drinks, though, the self-serve fountain drinks.
Oh wow, that's
and it's lemonade sitting there.
I thought you had to like get it in a cup, like a cup of coffee or something.
No, now you do and now they're putting it behind the counter, but it used to not be behind the counter.
Oh,
so it used to be in like the little, you have the little lemonade where you got you see the clear container with the drinks in it. Like usually it's the fruit punch.
Oh, little margarita machine or whatever.
Yeah. So it's there and
or it was there.
Like, yeah, I think they're taking back. But yeah, so it's still labeled as like this is an energy drink or even labeled as their caffeine. But people don't, you go to get a fountain drink, you don't expect you're getting some boosted energy drink necessarily from the little fountain dispenser. Even
Definitely
if it might
not.
be labeled.
Yeah.
And it's called, and what you see in big clear letters is lemonade and it's yellow. So you're like, all right, that's all right. But yeah,
Fuck
so anyway,
you.
it's like, I had to Nikki had to tell me.
They got it in the little things.
Yeah.
Like you just go ahead and pour away. But again, some asshole didn't read.
No, I know.
He's had 3 cups of Coke before. He thinks he's good.
But even then, they
says
might not
30
know.
fluid ounce. 389 milligrams.
Right, but they don't know what milligrams is.
What the fuck?
But they'll say something like, it has the same amount of caffeine as our dark roasted coffee, but you're not going to drink 30
389
ounces.
milligrams?
Or 90 ounces of it.
Right.
Jesus
Or 90
Christ.
ounces. So you're not going to drink 90 ounces of coffee. But anyway, it's a recipe for disaster. It's stupid. Clearly, it's going to fuck someone up. Right.
Guy had 2 refills and then had a heart attack.
It must taste really good,
They have the frequent sippers program there. You can, I don't know what they call it.
Oh my God, they don't really, do
Yes, they do. You pay a certain amount a month and you can go get free refills
of the charged lemonade.
Of whatever you want.
They just packing people full of caffeine and no one said, hey
I really
guys,
like
maybe
that Panera.
not.
That Panera is really great.
Panera's awesome. Everybody's just great. Yeah. You guys been to Panera Bread lately? They got the best fucking lemonade I've ever had.
What's that, bro? What is it? Was it Jim Carrey? When he was in, he had a Red Bull. What was that? Was that Ace Ventura? It was some Jim Carrey movie.
I don't think Red Bull was around.
You have a Red Bull? It was
out.
post Ventura. It was one of those.
That's a good reference, John. Keep them coming.
It's a good reference.
Keep them coming, John.
That's me. Movie
Classic.
trivia, David. Here.
Good reference.
Now I need to know.
What else you got?
Keep
Denny?
looking. So Jake was the one who wanted to lose weight. The Gilroys were not assured. They didn't want him to do it, but he was going to do it anyway because it's Jake.
And the movie was Yes Man.
Because it's an actor. And,
right.
yeah.
Yes Man with Jim Carrey, where he has a Red Bull and he goes on about Red Bulls.
That's a pretty good one. Yes Man's classic.
Yeah. Okay.
It's medium Jim Carrey right there.
Right. Carry on. Medium Jim Carrey is right.
They were afraid because he was starting to look really scary. They hired Jake Gyllenhaal, the good-looking dude from Prisoners, and he's getting really frightening looking.
Look what you did to Jake. Their mom's calling him.
Yeah. So they were worried, and they got him to stop close to the beginning of production. And he didn't stop, but he kind of flattened out. And with makeup on and stuff, he didn't look as scary. So like without makeup, because he has makeup on in this movie, obviously, he looked not so healthy as you could probably imagine. So they were worried about that. But
did they say how he lost all the weight?
He didn't eat very much. He ate like kale all the time, and he ran and biked nonstop all the time.
Whoa. How crazy is that shit?
Yeah.
That's pro.
He was hungry. And the scene at the Mexican dinner with Rene Russo, he's kind of in the foreground out of focus eating chicken. He's actually eating chicken, and they had to like pull the chicken away from him because like he was eating too much of the chicken.
Like Jake.
Yeah. Like, bro, you got to slow down on the chicken.
Tastes really good.
Yeah. Yeah, leave some for the rest of us.
Let's have a little snack here, guys. Just keep rolling.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
They complained about hair in production. They said that hair is the last thing people think about when they're shooting a movie, so it's the last rush before they start rolling the camera, where they hadn't decided on any of the hairstyles before the movie. So there was like that was a last minute rush, and they were all empty for ideas, I guess. So they stressed about that.
Interesting.
Didn't know that before. Don't know if that's totally true. But
it seems like this. They sort of seem to make this movie seem very ad-libbed in some ways, other than the script. Like the shot where they were shooting, they didn't know till that day. It seems like
their crew that were scouting places were on buses. They didn't even have cars. They put them on buses to go around the city and look around.
Go look around. What do you mean? Where are we shooting?
Because that way they'd be able to put one person on one bus, one person on another, and they could look out the window without having to worry about driving. They would just be looking out the window for spots.
Hey, you're telling me?
No, so that splits them up into two people with eyes rather than one person driving, one person with eyes.
I mean,
that's how frugal they were with this movie.
Right. This can't be very common. You're telling me, boss, you don't know where we're shooting tonight. You want me to get on a bus and look out the window and find somewhere good to shoot. That's what you're telling me. Okay, boss.
So hey, I just want to sit down for a second. So I want to let you know that I have I'm really not a bus guy. I really don't like going on the bus.
Right. I have a real job.
Is this
so
job
I don't
really
have to ride a
dependent
bus.
on being on the bus? And he's like,
yes.
Yeah, you go in on the bus and you look out the fucking window and I give you your fucking money. Get out of my way.
What if I get beat up? No, it sucks for you.
I hope you're insured.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he looked so scary that they were thinking they were going to have an easier job letting the audience connect to his humanity, but they had to work harder at that because of how he looked, which is why they were adding in the smiling scenes. The direction they gave him for some scenes was lighter. The direction they gave him for the scene where he was explaining to Rene Russo what his plan was in the TV station, the direction to that scene was act like you're proposing to her. Which is why he comes off so soft and he's like really gentle and he's coming closer to her.
I mean, he's still terrifying and freaky. It's great that they did this because, well, maybe, I don't know. This film might have been also just mesmerizing to watch if he was just, I think what might have been hard was, though, maybe go too far and it's not realistic that anybody would put up with it or people would just fucking walk away or run away screaming from him in real life. If he was, it
would have been less realistic because it's kind of a realistic type of movie, right?
Yeah, you're right.
It would have felt like a weird horror movie if it was if he was scared.
Right. Like you don't want to take us out of the story.
Yeah,
right. We want to be right in the middle of this intimate discussion.
Yeah, I guess Nick Cage wouldn't have worked out. A little bit lighter, Nick. Can you do it a little?
You can always do a remake, right? Hollywood loves remakes. Just remake it with Nick Cage.
Just say, Nick, give me later. Ha ha! I'm Nick Cage. I'm laughing.
Yeah.
You go back to the classics, John. Go back to what works.
That's right. I'm sorry. I'm trying to return to form. How am I doing, TC?
Not too bad.
Okay, thanks, man. Thanks.
They had a really small unit for the main unit. They did have a second unit with a different director that had all the not all the, but a lot of the driving shots, all the intercut shots and stuff. So that was a second unit director there. They did a lot of takes per scene. As I said, a lot of different ideas per scene. Rene Russo is married to Tony Gilroy. That's kind of that's how she got cast.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they talked about that. They're like, it's kind of...
we cast a wide net, and then we casted a wide net, settled on my wife.
And then we ate the fish sticks out of the freezer. Yeah, it's a fish joke.
Okay. I didn't get that one.
You cast a wide net to catch fish, but then you go home and eat the fish sticks out of the freezer, John.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't follow you. That was subtle for me.
You liked it?
Yeah,
you liked it. You can tell because you confused the shit out of him. That's good.
Yeah, I was confused. Now I feel dumb. But anyway, it was funny.
I think that's the first time we've mentioned fish sticks in the podcast, guys. Just want to point that out.
True.
It's another landmark for us here.
Milestone.
Market AI. Market AI.
Make a note. Yeah. AI companion, make a note.
Put that in the tag.
This is fish sticks.
For those people looking for that sort of thing.
Let's see what happens. I'm gonna catch me up. Yeah.
Not yet. No, it's got to have the full arc of the episode to understand it.
Yeah, maybe.
They said that half the budget was on the screen.
Yeah.
So that's quite a bit, I think, because a lot of it usually goes to like preparation and the cast, pre-production, post-production, all that stuff. This movie was half on screen for the overall budget, which is
because these people all do this every day for their lives, and they have the money. They're the ones putting in the money. It's not the same. Yeah.
They shot from 9 p.m. until the sun came up every night of the 28 days.
Very cool.
When I say when the sun came up, they were shooting until they couldn't shoot anymore. Every day, they would change the camera settings while the sun was coming up to pretend like you can do that to make it still look like it's dark. And they did that until they couldn't do that anymore.
Couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
Right. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Double moves night. That's what it's called. If you move to 3 locations, you move twice. That's called a double move.
That's a lot, dude. That is so much work, too. It's insane.
You move everything. I mean, they had a small crew, but like you set up.
But still, it's everything.
It's everything.
No, it's a lot. It's a lot of shit. Yeah. It's a lot of shit. Yeah.
It's pretty sweet. It must have it's kind of what they were doing, right? They had all their gear. They're driving around fast. It's kind of like what the
people in the movie
are doing.
Yeah, it's very meta.
The guy, Riz Ahmed, the little sidekick there, beat out 75 other people in his tryout videotape. They did tapes for this movie. If you watch that dude, he has a very thick British accent. And it's very strange because he has a really good, American LA accent, whatever you want to call it. Kind of a dumb guy American accent. Once they got to his tape, they were like, yes, he's the guy. They added the plant to make him more human-like. That was a direct reaction to how scary he looked.
Oh,
that was added in.
I like the little domestic life scenes they had of him too. Like early on, him in his apartment watching TV, or he was doing ironing, or I think that those are just kind of nice touches as well. Again, probably trying to humanize him a little bit, but it worked really well in the film too.
I really like the scene when the cops came to his house and he seemed excited to have somebody in his apartment.
Right.
That seemed legit.
Yeah. Like he's excited to talk to him. But also,
he's like, nobody ever comes here. I got no friends.
Yeah, this is unbelievable.
Also, they know me. I'm famous. Yeah, I'm the guy that did that. Not so much as the cops, It's like, yeah, I did that footage. Isn't it good? Wasn't that good? That was good, wasn't it?
He's like, but I'm allowed to do that. I know I'm allowed to do that. You can't tell me otherwise. The scene where he's yelling into the mirror and breaks it, that was an accident. And that was one take, and he cut his hand open. He had to go to the hospital and get 40 stitches.
How about how he casually walked off, too?
I know. I love it how the mirror landed, where you could see his reflection walking off.
Yeah.
It was so
good. And he
good.
just walked off perfectly, like, just stay, even though it hurts.
It's rolling.
And then he went, fuck! I'm cut. Fuck,
it's like, is it cut? Is it cut? We have to go to the hospital.
Exactly.
But he went back, so he had the stitches in his hand. He was working 8 hours later with the thing on, and they actually had it in the movie, and I forgot this, but they said that there was a scene where he had an injury on his hand, and they chalked it up to like him trying to steal some trash back in the beginning when he was stealing trash.
Oh, okay.
So they kind of built it in, but I don't remember exactly where that was.
Didn't really notice.
Huh.
Oh, they talked a lot about the scene where they were in the editing room during the quote horror home shoot, where they were doing the footage of him in the house with the 3 dead bodies before anyone else got in there, and how it was like you had on one screen, we were in the editing room, and on the 2 monitors, you had what the people on, watching TV were watching, and then you had the other TV set of the commentators commentating on it as it was going on. They talked about how hard that scene was to edit because, there's 3 different things going on. There's a lot of different shots. As they pointed it out, it cuts to a lot of the people's faces within the room and how they're reacting. So we not only get like the live commentating from the newscasters, but we also get like how the people in the editing room are reacting to what they're showing, and everyone's like feeling different emotions because of how fucked up the footage is and all that stuff.
Yeah,
you don't really think about it because it works so well, but there's a lot of edits in that movie, and there's a lot going on with like the 3 different things happening, and it took them a really long time to get that scene
get it
right.
all worked out.
Yeah. So first they had to create a backbone, which was a cut down version of the footage that Jake took, and they used that to kind of surround it with the other 2 parts of that scene.
Damn.
Yeah. So pretty sweet. This really works really well. It's working when you don't notice it, right? It just seems really smooth and easy, but if someone points at it and says, look at how difficult this is, you're like, holy shit, this is a lot of cuts.
Yeah, I never thought
about that. There's a lot going on here. Like, pretty good stuff.
Like when you see the work being done and then you hear what it is, you're like, oh, fuck, that's insane. Right. Yeah, that's cool.
The actors in that scene were real newscasters in LA.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Really?
So I don't know if you watch the news in LATC, you might know who they are.
Oh, that's fun.
No, I didn't catch it.
You're not a nightly news type of guy? Oh, that's surprising.
No.
That's surprising.
I'm a national news kind of guy.
You like the national stuff?
Yeah.
National Enquirer?
Yeah.
Bat Boy?
Sure.
No? Okay.
No, I have no idea.
There's a thing called the tax break lottery in LA. Have you heard of this before?
No.
Yeah. I don't know what it is or who it applies to, but they say you can just enter this tax break lottery for movies, and the people that fund it hope that you get the tax break, and they didn't get the tax break for this movie. They still made it, so like it didn't matter, but I don't know.
They just like enter it like when some Just any random movie.
Some random movies get a bigger tax break than others. I mean, that seems kind of fucked up. But,
that seems weird.
Weird.
But they entered it and they lost. So interesting. I didn't look it up what it was or anything.
Wow.
Well, this is great stuff, Denny.
Yeah. I just never thought taxes and gambling, two things that would go
I thought it was interesting. Come on.
It is weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, it's fine.
And if you're interested, go look it up yourself. I plan on actually doing that after this podcast.
All right.
Otherwise,
tell us all about it afterwards.
Yeah, right.
Stay tuned for next week's episode. We're going to talk about tax breaks and gambling and stuff. In the script, they had 16 people in the diner for that the cop shootout at the end, and they had a much bigger car chase scene. But they had one of the production guys come in and say, "Hey, we don't have the money for this, and it might also be better if we cut it down to something much smaller." So the police chase scene happened. It was like half the length it was supposed to be, and there were only like two people, 4 cops, as opposed to 16 additional people in that shootout scene. So that worked. I thought it was pretty perfect. Yeah. You don't need a big chase scene, even bigger chase scene. John, you were impressed by it, right? Like that's
I was, but the shootout was also really well done and tense. Like him walking, the police walking up with them.
Yep.
Do they have a gun? Don't they have a gun?
And they thought about going into the diner. Like that was an idea they had, right? But they decided never to go into the diner, and it seems like such an obvious choice because it works so well.
It would have been weird. It would.
But you can do that because you can do whatever you want in a movie, right?
You can, but you would have left his perspective, which we rarely, if ever, leave his perspective. So we're always following him.
Yeah.
So I think that would have made it weird. If they'd have gone into the diner, it would have been a shift in the film, unless he was going in.
True. Yeah, I think there was a lot of choices where they decided to stay with him, and it just threw out.
Because even when they're in the diner, we're seeing his reactions. We're with him, and that matters a lot too. That probably helps. It does go to his partner because his partner is away for that scene, but it does go to him. He does go to his partner and show him. So it does. Yeah. So you're right. We do like move away from him a little bit there. But seeing his reactions when he gets like scared, it also, because he's so low key normally, or he's not low key, but he's not really excited
scared?
about
I didn't think he was scared.
He's excited.
Yeah, I thought he was just heightened. He's like, all right, I have to pay attention now because I'm on a freaking car chase.
That makes me like scared though. It's like that adds to the tension. I don't know. Yeah.
Something serious is going on.
Yeah. So I have something.
Oh, you do?
So Velvet Buzzsaw. That came out in 2019. It had the same director and writer, same guy, right?
And Jake Gyllenhaal, right?
Jake Gyllenhaal, Rene Russo, Toni Collette, and also John Malkovich.
So how about known each other for a while?
Same cinematographer, Robert Elswit. So he's the guy that did There Will Be Blood.
So this is just their crew.
Yeah, but it did not do nearly so well. I hadn't even heard of it, and it's a art horror. It's like a art gallery horror film. Like they're running an art gallery in horror, and it's about the business of art.
Huh.
But yeah, it didn't do so well. It just sort of interesting. I still want to kind of see it now, just to see what it's like.
Look at the trailer. I remember watching a trailer for this one, and it did not look that good. And I wanted to like it.
What was it called again?
Velvet Buzz.
Yeah. And the last piece of trivia I have, ready for the last piece?
Yeah.
So they had a cut of the movie towards the end where Jake Gyllenhaal got his partner shot by the guy in the car, and there was a long period of time where Jake was kind of hovering over his partner, taking his watch, taking his camera. He was there for a bit, and they had this edit without music in there, and the editor and director and producers were all watching it being like, this is way too long. The cops are already here. There's no way that he would be allowed to do all this on a crime scene with the cops here. But then as soon as they added that angelic score to the background, it removed that thought out of their heads. He's like, this fills it.
I see.
Yeah. This fills it. It kind of makes it like we're maybe in his head a little bit. There might be some surrealism going on here. Something like that. They said it just made it work. And then they left the edit the way it was.
And they're right. Because I was right. I wasn't thinking that.
Totally right. It's crazy they worked so well that you have that thought in your head and then it fixes it even though you're aware of the problem.
As opposed to just, they could have also just been like, well, okay, we're just going to cut that out then.
Right.
We're just not going to have that happen. But that was a pretty compelling scene in the film.
Yeah. That's all I got.
Cool.
All right.
Would you put this in the top 250? Should it actually? Let me rephrase that. Should this be in the top 250?
The top 250.
Well, should is like I don't know. That's
yeah. Who are we to say?
Right?
We're fucking idiots.
Well, also, but I would.
Also that list is bullshit anyway.
Right.
Yeah. Like should it? But is it? So it's sort of
that's
hard.
good. Yeah, I don't like should it because then it makes it seem like we're the gatekeepers.
Then we ruined the whole point of this episode. Now we can't publish it.
Yeah. God damn it, John.
Fuck.
Should this be? Is this what? What are we gonna say it as?
I don't know.
Would we
put this in the top 250?
Maybe we should pick a movie that we'd kick out of the top 250 that exists there and shove this one in there.
Oh, what do you have to replace it with?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Kind Hearts and Coordinates, get the fuck out of there. Nightcrawler, come on.
The Help. The Help can go.
Oh, The Help. Yes, The Help.
The Help can go, or Room.
Let's just go down the top 250 from where we started. I think The Help was close to the beginning.
Remove all of them as we go.
Replace
them all with the ones we're watching. I don't know if this should be in, to be honest.
Oh, really?
I think it probably should.
I think it should. It's got some of the best acting.
I don't think I've ever seen the story before.
Right.
I didn't, it's a very unique story in it. So, and great acting. So,
yeah.
And it brings to light something you've probably never thought of before, even though you've seen it.
Right. And there are lesser movies on the list.
Dog Day Afternoon is one like this. Again, the character is more likable in Dog Day Afternoon, but you're following this small time guy kind of around too.
That's a good comparison.
He goes down. I'm very proud to have a comparison.
That's a good one. Yeah.
I mean, John, the comparison was due like an hour and a half ago.
Hey, we're
at the end of the podcast. What are you bringing up new shit for?
Thanks for raining on my parade.
Your beautiful idea came in way too fucking late, dude. We're already at the 50. We're at the 250
I'm still
mark.
a failure even when I do good.
Yeah, would you put this in the top 250 is the question, not Dog Day Afternoon.
Okay, fine.
Good comparison, though.
It is good. Yeah, because there's other stuff. What, like homosexuality, also the news, police.
Right. How you follow this character around, how you see a lot of it is from his perspective.
Yeah.
I don't
know, though. It jumps more to the police station in that one. The room across the street, with the cops there.
That's fair. But anyway.
Good comparison, though, still.
Did try.
So, TC, was that a yes?
Yeah, I'm going to go yes.
You're going to go yes?
The story itself is unique.
Okay. And I mean, you got to give it for the LA stuff. Like being from LA, this is like the best.
Right.
I don't know.
I don't think you can, and I think you couldn't have chosen a better city for this specific story, right? Yeah. Maybe Manhattan or New York, but
maybe.
But like, I don't know.
It wouldn't have been as pretty.
Around as
it wouldn't have been.
Like,
you couldn't drive around and see all this other shit. You'd have to be like stuck in traffic.
Right. Even in the middle of the night, it'd be all these taxis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So for that, yes. In addition to, that's a good thing.
I'm going,
yeah.
Okay.
John.
Oh, yeah. I think so.
All right. Well, good pick, Denny.
Oh, yeah.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Now what are we going to do?
Well, which one are we doing
next week? We're going to go back to the list.
Oh, right. I know what we're doing.
And we're doing the last Ghibli movie on the list,
right.
Spirited Away, made in 2001.
I love it.
But not our last one.
Not our last one, because following next week, we're going to do The Boy and the Heron, which is potentially Miyazaki's last movie he's ever going to make. Which he said for like 3 or 4 movies at this point.
I don't know how many times he's come out of retirement.
Yeah. He's just going to keep making them until he dies. So hopefully he doesn't die for a while.
Yeah. But yeah, this is exciting. It'll be an exciting 2 weeks here.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
It's also, I'm a little worried because we're going to watch Spirited Away and then immediately compare it. We're going to watch the best one and then watch the newest one. That's, it's getting really good reviews.
It'll be, but it's a different tone. Spirit, these are from what
we don't know yet.
We don't know yet. We don't know yet.
I think it'll be okay. I think they'll be okay.
It'll be good. But next week we're watching Spirited Away, and I think that's it. So let's go to the AI who's been snooping on us this entire episode.
So unfortunately, I don't have the summary one set up.
Oh, I just have Catch Me Up here, and
the Catch Me Up won't really. Let me see if this
based on the meeting transcript, the participants discussed a movie that they believe should be included in the top 250 list. They talked about the lead actor's performance and how the film was underappreciated. They also mentioned the moral compromises, ambition explored in the movie. The participants debated whether it should replace another film in the top 250 overall. They shared their thoughts on various aspects of the film, including action scenes and character development. It gets boring. It's like just reviewing it as a meeting, though,
as
too.
like a
Hey, at least it's not like nothing happened.
Right.
right? It's better than that.
Well, they were like, that was like evaluating the meeting. There's no action items here.
I know. These guys aren't doing anything. We're a bunch of losers.
No email needed. Just go home.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So that's that one. Spirited Away.
Okay, cool.
Talk
to you guys next week.
All right, see you guys.
Stop 'em.